Hello, my name is Jonathan Tinsley. I'm a chiropractor as well as a certified yoga instructor, and today we're going to go over yoga for desk jockeys. Posture is supposed to be a nice relaxed position in which the spine is elongated and lifted. However, in today's society and with bad ergonomics in the workplace, we seem to find a lot of people who tend to have problems maintaining their posture or being able to pay attention to their posture. I'm now going to demonstrate the incorrect postures that people assume at the workplace. Okay. Many of the incorrect postures that are assumed at work are due to what I consider laziness. The first which is the rounding of the back. Many times people find themselves sitting at the computer doing this, leaning on their armchair. All that helps to promote tension in the upper shoulders as well as in the upper back. The other way that people find themselves sitting might be this way, which is an overcompensation. This creates pinching between the shoulder blades, muscle spasm, as well as blocks vital energy that needs to flow up and down the spinal canal. Now, the easiest way to correct your posture and be mindful of it is by taking your right hand, placing it on the tip, very vertex of your skull, and extending your spine both into your seat and up into your finger to create the elongation throughout each spinal segment. As you can see, my posture here is neither too far forward, creating the pinching, or too far back, creating the humping in the chest. Creating a perfect posture should be an effortless event. However, we have trained ourselves to not sit in the correct posture, therefore it can become trying and very difficult. And having to retrain our bodies to sit in the correct posture is what we need to do. Next, I'd like to speak about breathing. But before I get into the mechanics of breathing and how we're supposed to do it, I want to talk briefly about the nervous system and how it's comprised. The nervous system is comprised of a voluntary and an autonomic system. The voluntary system is what allows us to walk, allows us to move our arms at will, hence the name voluntary. The autonomic system runs everything in the body that the body needs in order to sustain itself. It helps to digest food, helps to move blood through the kidneys, so forth and so on. The autonomic system is a very powerful system that in itself is divided into two subsystems. The parasympathetic system is designed for the relaxation response, which we'll talk about here momentarily. The sympathetic system is designed to help stimulate the body in a fight or flight mechanism, meaning that when the body is stimulated through the sympathetic nervous system, that the body is either prepared to do one of two things, which is fight for its existence and its life, or to run to help preserve life as well. We hear about the use of the sympathetic nervous system in incidences where you see a young child lifting a car off their father, where the adrenaline has kicked in and has allowed this boy to do supernatural things. This is built into our system as a survival tactique. However, there is also the counter system, which is the parasympathetic system, which does the relaxation response. The relaxation response was discovered by Herbert Benson, who is a Harvard-educated MD. He has gone over to the Himalayas to study the Tibetan monks because they have been rumored to be able to do superhuman things. These things include raising their body temperature at will, being able to slow the heart down to a almost stopped rate, a lot of things that have been considered supernatural and impossible to control. However, when Herbert Benson realized what the mechanism was, it's the parasympathetic system that the monks were using to help control. The parasympathetic system is used to slow the heart rate down, it's used to help the body repair itself, to create a relaxation response to counter the flight or fight mechanism. Now, breathing is very closely associated with both the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system is simulated in the upper two lobes of the lungs. When somebody's in a panic state or in a fight or flight mechanism, a lot of their breathing will be shallow and very upper chest, such as very panting. However, when you get into a parasympathetic response, and to induce a parasympathetic response, we need to do a belly breathing exercise, which we're about to demonstrate. First, what we're going to do is make sure our feet are flat on the floor, that our knees are at a 90-degree angle, and that the flesh is pulled away from our sit bones, so we're sitting evenly and firmly on our chair. Then we're going to place our right hand at the vertex of our skull, and we're going to push both up and down at the same time to create that extension and that lifting through the spine. Now that we have that, next thing we're going to do is we're going to place our right hand 2 inches below our navel. This is the point that we want to breathe into. What tends to happen is when people breathe, they'll breathe in through their nose, And you'll see their chest rise, especially this area up in here. And as you breathe out, their chest will fall. None of that is being executed by the diaphragm. In order to get the diaphragm moving, in order to fill up the lower lobes of the lung, we have to push our stomach out like we're pregnant. So as you push your stomach out, you should be able to push in and it should feel taut. This is what it should feel like when you breathe in. And the mechanism that we breathe in is as simple as this. When we breathe in through our nose, into our stomach. You should be able to feel your stomach press against your finger. It should be firm. Then as you breathe out, we'll practice again. Deep breath in through the nose, into the belly, and then out. The abdominal breathing helps to engage the parasympathetic nervous system, which helps to reduce muscle tension, blood pressure, and stress. Muscles need to be moved every 15 minutes. The reason why muscles need to be moved is to help pump out the bad stuff and bring in the good stuff. Bad stuff like lactic acid, which can build up in the muscles, create muscle tension, create what they call trigger points or knots. Some mornings when you wake up after you're having slept in a position for a long time, you feel as though it's stiff. And that's the reason why, because the muscle needs to move in order to get rid of its waste product. When it doesn't do that, it creates stiffness, tension, and pain.